The Broadway Show gets bigger and better every week. I'm Tamsen Fadal, and you've come to the right place for the brightest stars, biggest shows, and amazing musical performances. Here we go. Let's talk about Left on 10th. The new play by Delia Ephron is a romantic comedy about second chances in life and in love. The new play, based on Ephron's memoir, stars Peter Gallagher and Julianna Margulies, who's returning to Broadway for the first time in 18 years. We had a chance to chat. I'm curious, what did you think when you first got hold of this play? Because it just seems like you see a story like this and you go, I have to.
Well, I had a little bit of a history with Delia and her memoir, Left on 10th, because we had sort of a meet cute moment when our dogs were sniffing each other on 10th Street.
Oh, wow.
We live in the same neighborhood. And I had just written a book that had come out, but it was still during the pandemic, so I wasn't able to do a book tour. And this lady with her dog looked up and saw it was me, and she said, "I loved your book." And I said, "Thank you so much for reading it."
Right.
And then she took her mask down and she said, "My name's Delia Ephron." So that's how I met her.
Wow.
And she said,
Wow.
"I actually have a memoir coming out. Can I drop it off with your doorman?" And I said, "Oh my God." And so she put her email and her phone number, and we started a friendship. You know, went out to dinner with her husband, my husband, and we have a lot of friends in common. And then, I guess 3 years later, she emailed me and said, "I wrote my memoir into a play. I would love it if you would play me."
Wow.
It was just timing, and also I find her story so hopeful and magical and beautiful. And then when Peter Gallagher and Susan Strom, like it just all came together in this just beautiful melting pot of joy and kindness, and at such a great time in my life, and I think a great time for the world. And the idea that, you know, just because we get older doesn't mean we're done.
Yes.
In some cases, it means we've just begun. And that's their story. And it's really a story for everyone.
I love the relationship that you had before with her, because I think that probably means, does that put more pressure on you when you're there on stage, or do you just feel her because you know her so well now? It's a little bit different.
It doesn't anymore. In the beginning it did, because I felt so passionate about her memoir when I read it. I was so impressed where she went with it. She was so raw and vulnerable and truthful in that memoir. It was quite breathtaking to read it. And so I said to her when she sent me the play, and I read it right away, within an hour, and it had all the emotions I went through as a reader, just reading her memoir. And I said, "Delia, I love you so much, and this play is so important that let's do a reading of it first to make sure I'm the girl for you."
Wow.
And there's no ego attached.
Yeah.
This has to be done right, because it's such an important story. From so many different perspectives, from the medical world. I mean, we have so many transplant patients every night. We have doctors, we have surgeons. I mean, one night, the entire Weill Cornell Medical Hospital has bought out the entire evening.
Oh, wow.
In November, I think it will be. This is giving hope to transplant patients. It's giving hope to caregivers. It's giving hope to parents, to children, right?
That's a different level.
At all different levels. And then on top of it is this idea of second chances of love when you've lost a spouse.
I wanted to ask you this about rom-com, because it's not really a rom-com.
Correct.
Right?
It is, in that there's so
not.
much romantic comedy in it, but there is this moment in the play where my character Delia is just, it's called graft versus host disease, which what happens is when you get the stem cell transplant, your body is fighting it. And graft versus host, meaning the host, your body is taking in what they're putting in and fighting it. And it's brutal. And she begs Peter to let her go. She was in the hospital 100 days and he never left her side. Everything we're doing on stage is is true. And she begs him to let her go. And he just looks at her and he says, "No." And it is an incredibly emotional scene. I tear up talking about it because it's just such a beautiful human moment when you have someone fighting for you and saying, actually, it's not your time yet. We have more time on this planet together. And then she makes it. and it's this overwhelming joy. So yes, it's a romantic comedy. Bring tissues,
yes.
I would say, because there are moments where you're going to cry out of joy, fear, love.
And you're going to see something, I assume, if you've gone through any type of loss, if you've gone through any...
It connects to everybody.
Everybody somehow.
Everybody.
No matter what it is.
Yeah, and you really feel that universal connection in a theater, and it's what I've missed so much.
If you want to see more of my interview, head over to Broadway.com for an extended cut. It's another must-see show and another star-studded opening night on Broadway. She's ready for her close-up. It's Sunset Boulevard like you've never seen it before. It's a radically reimagined version of the epic musical starring Nicole Scherzinger. We hit the red carpet with the stars on opening night.
I believe we all have a plan and a purpose here, and I realized I was actually meant to play Norma Desmond, and all of the patience and the pushbacks and the pain and all the beauty in my life was for a reason. What I love about Norma Desmond, everything. I love how vulnerable she is. I love that she's not afraid to show her pain, her loneliness, her abandonment, but at the same time she's a warrior and she will never surrender. And most importantly, she's a dreamer.
Tonight I got emotional listening to Nicole do As If We Never Said Goodbye, because I was like, she's wanted this her whole entire life. And to be able to support her and be there for her in that moment, I was like, this is incredible.
Crucially, I could see Nicole play this role, mainly because she has known extraordinary fame. She's been really, really, really famous. And then has been discarded and dismissed by all of us. You know, never really been given the opportunity to really show the world what she can do. She's a major, major artist, and I don't think anyone realised what she was capable of doing.
This is my 4th Andrew show. He can write a tune, man, you know, he can really write a tune. And Max particularly sits really nicely for me. It's like The Greatest Star of All is a lovely song. I saw the show here in New York in 1996, and George Hearn was playing Max, and that, you know, he's my baritone hero when I was growing up. And so I've always sort of had a fondness for that song and that role and this show.
I think the privilege of it is the reaction that we get. I mean, we know we're proud of this. Like, I'm so proud to be in this, but to know that it's being received in the way that it's being received is incredible, because we've all worked so hard. Jamie always says, like, stay humble and just take each day as it comes, and that's exactly what we're doing. I mean, it's huge what we're doing, but also, like, we are just up there having fun and, you know, doing the story that we've rehearsed, and that's incredible.
Wicked is iconic, Broadway's 4th longest running musical with no sign of slowing down. Let's send it out to Paul Wontorek.
Donna McKechnie, I'm so thrilled you're on Broadway. How's Broadway treating you? Madame Morrible and Wicked.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
I love it so much. The show is so fantastic.
Yeah.
It always has been. I mean, when I saw the show, like in the beginning, it
Sure.
was fantastic. Yeah. But when I got a call to, what would you think about, doing the show? And I went, well, I think I have to see it first.
Yeah.
To see if I could do it, because it's been 30 years. And I saw it and I went, oh, I have to do this. I'd be so proud to be on that stage. It's like being in a rock concert, the screams at the end.
Oh, it's crazy.
When I go out of the stage door after the show, every night I see these faces just light up, and they love the show so much, they get it. And beyond that, it's just gorgeous music. The score is fantastic. It's just a wonderful thing.
I love how you look in the Madame Morrible drag.
Yes.
You look fabulous. I was thinking about all the shows you've been in, and in some ways, this might be the biggest. I mean, it's like a theme park. I mean, people say that all the time, but it's a very...
I've never been in a show like this.
Yeah.
It's fantastic. Everybody works so hard all the time. There is a show on stage, and then there's a whole other choreographed, practiced show going on backstage, because we have to have patterns of travel, and people are constantly changing, and dressers are with the... costume bags and prop people are running in and holding the curtain, and it's a miraculous thing, and they really know what they're doing. They've been doing it a while, but they love it. Everyone is just such a good person. Yeah.
So at what point did you embrace your legend status? You're a Broadway legend. I mean, that first of all, that Cassie dance, that choreography alone, you're such a big part of history.
Yes, thank you.
And
But
you're obviously won a Tony Award for that.
It's a humbling experience, though.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm proud of it. I sort of get it. It's enough years later that I kind of can step back a little bit, but I don't see myself that way. I mean, I'm surviving.
Yeah.
Michael's legacy of a chorus line is just, I mean, it's still playing everywhere, all around the world. It's always playing somewhere. I'm very proud of it because I meet people all the time, but it's wonderful to know that you're delivering something, that you're connecting with the audience in a way that really lifts them up and it's wonderful.
Yeah, you mentioned Michael Bennett, who of course you're very tied to. Your legacies are sort of entwined. Yeah. He owned this building.
Yes.
This building, 890 Broadway, a legendary rehearsal space. There was a point in time when every major Broadway show, especially in the 80s and 90s, rehearsed there. Do you have specific...
I rehearsed here.
You rehearsed here, so what are your specific memories of being here?
Well, I remember when he got really excited about getting it, he said, I found a place where there are no poles. And, most of the big studios had that, but he was thrilled. And, to see it still thriving and dancers running up and down the stairs here, it's beautiful.
In '83, when they did that, when you did the special performance, of course, that's when it became the longest running show, right?
Yes,
I saw a photo online of you rehearsing Music in the Mirror in this building. Yeah. You're a part of it. You're a part of this history.
I love it so much.
If you want to see more of Paul's interview, head over to Broadway.com for an extended version. This is The Broadway Show, and we're back in just a few. Welcome back to The Broadway Show. I'm Tamsen Fadal, so let's get back to it. The Hills of California is a new play from Jez Butterworth. Here's Beth Stevens with another edition of Building Broadway.
Thanks, Tamsen. Tony winner Jez Butterworth's The Hills of California, starring Olivier Award winner Laura Donnelly, is on Broadway after a celebrated London run. I sat down with the real-life couple to talk about their latest collaboration. The last time you two were on Broadway was with The Ferryman, and that was very much inspired by Laura's family, and it feels to me that this was more inspired by your family, Jez. Is that the case?
Yeah, I think some bits of it were inspired by your family. I think the whole idea of a troop of children being drilled to fulfill a task that wasn't perhaps top of their list of things to do. It comes from her side. But the rest
Are you referring to some kind of dancing that you did as a child?
Dancing, gymnastics, all sorts of family endeavours.
I used to refer to Laura's family as the family muck trap.
Oh, wow. Lots of performing.
Yeah.
But yeah, the rest of it I think is pretty much a hodgepodge and a stew of all sorts of pain, trauma, and loss from my side of the equation. Yeah.
Well, you said that with a smile, but it is about something very traumatic and very emotionally deep. Tell me about accessing that, both of you, that kind of emotion.
That's the best part of acting. It's the reason that I wanted to be an actor in the first place. So the more available, the deeper that you can be driven by the writing, the better. And I'm always looking for kind of where the greatest depth in the play for whichever character I'm playing is, and then kind of judge everything else from there. But gosh, it's just become so part of my job over the last couple of decades that I don't think of that as in any way unusual or tricky to do or anything like that. It is the job.
There's a funny thing, which is it's always hard to remember, and whenever it feels like I'm trying to kind of whistle it up again, it feels almost like I'm counterfeiting it, but I know it had things to do with the death of my sister and us gathering for what was a long drawn out process there of her death from cancer in 2012. I know that it has a lot to do with things that happened to me early on in life. You know, I have 4 daughters, and there are 4 daughters in this family. I think that sometimes I'm upstairs dying, and sometimes I'm downstairs attending the death, like in a dream where you're suddenly different characters and you're... Whenever I embark on trying to explain where this comes from, it's like, I still genuinely don't really know why it is like when a songwriter sits down to write a song, I'm pretty sure they don't have like bullet points of things that they need to cross off and go through from their own life. It's kind of like a waking dream.
Laura, you play two characters, but the mother character is a bit of an ambitious woman, and in this current era of momagers and, you know, mama roses, she has more humanity to her that you found. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, I think that is because the emotion of the story is not based on somebody who wants her children to be famous. It's somebody who wants her children to be safe and to have a better life than she did. Her blindness to the risks around that means that she makes a crucial decision which has such a knock-on effect for her relationship with her daughters and for the lives of the daughters after that. But I don't think that it's based around the stage and fame. It's based around that decision and those relationships and the consequences.
You are writing mostly women characters here. Did you find it easy to get into the heads of the women? I mean, you are surrounded by women in your life.
I am, and I don't remember the moment where they all were women. Like, it's an odd thing. It's when a play idea forms in my head, it is like a doorbell rings and you open it and there's characters standing there and you decide whether or not you're going to let them in. And in my first play it was 6 men, and in this play it was 8 women, and I'm not really sure why they come to the door. They don't come to the door often enough for my liking, but when they do, I let them in.
You built a musical out of a DeLorean, Back to the Future, changing musical theater history forever. Here's another exclusive musical performance from the Broadway.com studio.
Hi, my name is Mikaela Secada.
I'm Casey Likes.
And we're in Back to the Future, the musical.
And we are performing Wherever We're Going.
Why do you let people put you down? It's not for them to say. Just keep your feet planted on the ground and look the other way. They'll define you unless you have a dream. You gotta take time to be what you can be, and let me remind you, you're everything to me. Something good is flowing wherever we're going is alright with me. There's no way of knowing, we'll just wait and see. We'll get where we're going eventually. Wherever we're going is alright, 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 alright with me. I know you better than anyone, and you belong to me. And we will finish what we've begun. You'll write that song for
And that's going to do it for us. But for tickets, or if you want to check out extended cuts of all these interviews, head over to Broadway.com. I'm Tamsen Fadal, and this is The Broadway Show.